that's really the purpose of today's exploratory discussion, is to identify, or try and identify what we think we could plausibly build.
I think it's a valid question to ask which team members can produce hardware, which people have workshop experience, they can do something with their bare hands. So first we are going to build a model, a lander, based on the commercial material to demonstrate that we can make the functions work.
Yeah, I think it's got to be cheap materials, and it's got to be very simple processes that we can perform ourselves.
RC servos, for example.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
But the idea is just to build like a mechanical mock-up, you know, with nothing functioning on the inside, no electronics and.
Well, that's a good question, because I think if we were to build a structural model, then we could easily adapt it to become a thermal model, which, as much as we've got air in the room, and other issues, you know, we could do some simple thermal testing on it potentially. We'd have to look at. There's a lot of this stuff around in the marketplace that's very cheap. It's not space qualified, but that's not the point at this stage. It's not, the point isn't to make it space qualified. The point is to make it and demonstrate that we've got a basic plan of how it's all going to sit together.
And hopefully, like software, for example, could be reusable. So of course it's going to be very primitive sort of things you put together to start with, but that could become like the skeleton of something.
I think that's got to be the level of the work that gets done. Is it needs to be very clear what they need to make. There can be no going backwards and forwards. Oh, how do you want it? Oh, maybe it needs to be a bit different. Do like this. It's got to be a case of build this and build it quickly and cheaply, and they'll give it back to you when they've done it in their lunch break. Because once you start toing and froing, it becomes expensive for everybody.
We shouldn't really be even drilling holes in metal here.
Yeah,
maybe drilling holes in wood or something.
Possible, but you can do it at home. I can do it at home.
Yeah.
So that's not quite a big deal.
Yeah, we made a bit of
it comes down to the reading actions which have taken place in the workshop.
Well, that straight away limits us to an extent.
Part, it's quite something.
Yeah, that limits us to an extent.
Yeah.
But if it's small parts, then even if we have to buy small parts, then they can be quite cheap.
We just have to be careful that we don't.
And other issues for communications, but it's mostly comms driven. There's some thermal issues as well, but it's sort of a balance between the two.
Yeah.
It's mostly driven by comms.
Kit normally has his tools with him when he builds this.
I think they're not too far off, because we haven't got a.
Maybe this
Well, I mean, you have to. I'll probably handle the box.
Based on a real battery. And the real battery.
Based on what our needs would be, because what the battery actually does, because this is a 2-week mission and we land just after the sun comes up on the moon, and then we die as the sun goes down. So on that basis, we don't actually need a battery during a landed phase. We only need the battery for some of the period while we're landing.
Yes.
So it's a very short and very small amount of power.
What's that? Something to keep in mind, there's quite a lot of interest to use a CAN bus as the comms.